Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the student series, which is a part of L&D Elysium 2021 Learning and Development Summit and Awards, organized by Ashish Sen Consulting and Coaching and Indian Institute of Public Administration, which will be conducted in the month of February 2021. Joining us today is Mr. Tarun Midday. He is currently consulting as director and mentor with Fairgrowth Management Consultants. He is also on board as an advisor with Corporate Galaxy Star Training Network. He is a life member of Forum for Emotional Intelligence and Leadership, Bombay Management Association, and Indo-American Society, Mumbai, India. He is also a member of the Indian chapter of Leaders Excellence, Harvard Square, USA. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you amongst us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, around 2016, the book Ikigai was released, and since then
Yeah.
it has been the talk of the town, as some would
Mm.
say. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to know what it is. Some people do know what it is or have an idea. And on a rough basis, it's a Japanese concept to improve the work-life balance that people have. And so in terms of learning and development, the students, they go through a transition phase from being a student to being a working professional. So sir, since everyone is curious about this concept, how would you describe this concept and what does ikigai mean to you?
A very good question and very tough question indeed to really give an answer, proper answer to this, because I'm not a proponent or very expert on this subject, but I can relate to my experience and mention what it is all about. Okay, in a very brief way, to me, ikigai means discovering yourself from time to time. Okay, when I'm saying you're discovering yourself from time to time means what you love doing, what you want to change in doing things on a day-to-day basis, and how you can improve what you did yesterday in a different way to improve and do it today. Okay, that's what is ikigai about. Okay, it's about yourself. It is internal to you. It is internalized process by which you do things which not only helps you but helps the society at large. Okay, that's it, is a very brief concept so far as the ikigai is concerned. But ikigai actually would mean reason for being. I'm sure you must be knowing about it. Reason for being means why you are here for, what I am here for. You understand, when you ask this question to yourself, you will understand what is your reason for being in existence, being there. Is it for yourself, or is it for the society? Is it for the family? It is for the company you work for. Okay. So when you look for the question, answers to these questions, you will find that there's a meaning to this. You understand? Now, it's a Japanese concept, as you know. Okay. And it's not a new concept. Okay. It's a very, very old concept. And as much as I know, it's a culturally inbuilt into the whole Japanese culture. Okay, whatever they do with ikigai, they do with passion, they do with values. When they talk about ikigai, means it's passion, it's values that you carry with you, and how you relate those passion and values to the society around you. You understand? So as a student, you need to understand what is your worth, what is your value, what is it that you want to do for the society, and how you can do it. Okay, it's an admixture of all this that is ikigai all about. Okay, now if you look at there is a schematic diagram. If you look at that schematic diagram, it talks about passion, it talks about motivation, it talks about mission, it talks about your vocation. You understand? So it talks about those things. So while it is looking at what you love on one hand, on the other hand, it is looking at what is your vocation and how you can relate this to do something for the society at large. Okay, so it means what you're good at, what you love, what your values are, and how you intersect this to do something for the company you work for the family you are with, for the friends around you, and the society at large. So that is what I feel is the meaning, true meaning of ikigai. And being an HR professional, I must say that, okay, I can relate a little bit of how things change for me. When I started my career way back in 1980, 76, 77, late 70s and early 80s, I started as a welfare officer. In those days, welfare officer was a big thing. You understand? And what was their job? Welfare officer was to take care of the workers around working in the factories, in the manufacturing setup. Okay. Now, taking care of the workers within the factory. Now, what I did, one of my things which I'm very proud of doing it, saying it today and having done it that many years ago, that if a worker fell ill, go to his home, find out what is wrong with him, help him out at his home, counsel his family members. You understand? You go step forward outside the manufacturing unit, outside your factory, to go to his home to help him out. You understand? So you are stepping out, you're doing something different. Despite being a welfare officer, you're doing something different from within the company to outside the company to the family. You understand? You're extending your welfare approach to the family as such. You understand? So this is where I liked very much as an HR person. It was my passion to help people, to work with people, to be with people, and to help them doing things better in their life. That is one. Second thing is, subsequently, the welfare people became industry relations people. And from industrial relations to performance, personnel management, from personnel management to today we are talking about human resource development or human resource management. Okay. So what does it mean? What does it entail? It entails creating systems and processes which will help doing things in a better way, providing solutions to issues and problems which will make things better and better. You understand? So this is what is all Ikigai about. You understand? So what you love, that is your passion. How you do it is your vocation. Who do you do it for? Either it is company or people around. And how do you do it is by doing things, simplifying things, coming out with systems and processes which will help things. You understand? So this is what is all Ikigai about. Let me give you another example. When I'm talking about Japanese culture, when they're talking about Ikigai in Japanese culture, they would do things uh, without adversely affecting the day-to-day process. I remember those days when Japanese were very well known for quality. Japanese were very well known for just-in-time concept, doing things in time. They came out with zero balance, zero inventory balance, and things like that. Very new concepts. Okay. Now, if the workers went on strike, I don't know whether you've heard of this story or not, they would go on for strike. In India, striking means striking the work, zero work, no work on that day, isn't it? But in Japan, what happened is they would continue coming to work, but instead of manufacturing second pair of shoes, they will make only one pair of shoes. Suppose they have to do 400 pairs of shoes, means 800 shoes. Of 400 pairs means 2 pairs into 800, 2 means 800 shoes. They'll make only left foot shoes, 800 numbers. Okay, so they are not wasting their time. They're doing the manufacturing, but they're ensuring that their problem is brought to the notice of the management by doing something which will not adversely affect the manufacturing time. It will affect the company, but not the manufacturing time. So when the problem gets sorted out, they'll manufacture the other pair, other 400, 800 numbers of other pair, so that there's no loss of manufacturing time for them. So it has to be ingrained in you that you do something good for the society by doing something very positive. So that is what it means to me as far as Ikigai is concerned. Anything else?
So there's some great insights and telling us about the Japanese culture, how they imbibed this whole concept of Ikigaya and into management and the integration about passion and how to do it, what are the solutions about motivation and vocation. So, sir, in line with that, I would like to ask you, in today's time, it's so difficult, like in the COVID times, it was so difficult for people to realize what they want to what to do. So how do you think, how does one find a sense of purpose and meaning in such COVID times where people are stressed or they're going through something emotionally?
I'll ask you a counter question on this. Okay. Just to understand what you were saying, you understand or not. What is that you understand? What has happened? COVID. Has it made any change in your life, in your situation?
I think,
Ask
sir,
yourself.
it has, because it has made me realize more. Like, I have done a lot of introspection, so it has made me realize a lot of things. So I think thinking about what am I doing, is it correct or not, is it right or not, am I on the right path, is what I also personally did, because in our fast paced lives we just forget about looking or introspecting and understanding where we are, what we are doing. So I think personally that is what I did.
Yeah, absolutely right. You are, you are on point. See, you students are much more, what should I say, much more knowledgeable than what we are. Okay. Because in your time, you have access to so many things, so many information at the fingertips. We never had that opportunity when we were at your age. Okay. We had to go to the library and get up on the stool or a staircase to go up and take the book right on top and bring it down and look for the page where it is, or ask a friend where it is and all that and things like that. Life has become much more easier for you today. Okay. But what happens in this easy life, you forget many things, like spending time for yourself, own self. Do you spend time for yourself anytime? See, try to spend time for yourself. One thing. Okay. Take care of nature around you. Very important. Nature around you. Understand? Today we have to go out, wear a mask. Okay. If you didn't pollute around, if you look at it, it's you and I who are polluting, not anybody else. You understand? So we need to take care of the nature around us. Okay. Take care of your energy. Do you do exercise every day? I'm asking you a
Yes,
question.
sir. Yes, sir.
You do it? That's very good. You should do it, exercise every day. Should read something new, different. Don't read the subject that you are good at. Read the subject you are not good at. Try to know something else better, something. In this COVID time, in this pandemic time, nobody was prepared for this kind of a situation. But I think it has taught us a very big lesson of spending time with yourself, spending time with your family around, create a work-life balance for yourself, so you know the meaning of family. Family is there. We are so busy working in the office that we most of the time we forget that we have a family back home. We have parents at home, we have spouse at home, we have children at home. We leave at 9 o'clock in the morning, come back in the evening, 9:30, 10 o'clock, have dinner and just go to bed. Now we realize there's a family around us. Okay, so love them. Okay, simplify things, don't make complicated things. Make things very, very simple and easy to handle. We make things more complicated. We try to get into an argument, say that you are wrong and I am right. Sometimes say, yes sir, you are right. Okay, and leave it that. The person will realize that if he is wrong, he will come back to you and tell you, sorry here, I was wrong. You understand? Instead of trying to teach him that he is wrong. And most importantly is that try to create your own value system. Okay. What I do at times is, not always, I've not been able to do now. Post retirement, really, I have gone out of practice on many things. Two things. One is, when you go to bed in the night, just give 5 minutes to yourself. Okay. And think what you have done the whole day. Two things you do. One is what you've done wrong and what you've done right. Okay. And just go to sleep. Fine. That is one thing you can. Second thing you can do is that next day when you get up in the morning, after your morning breakfast and all that, when you sit down to do work, note down two things that you want to achieve today or that day. Two things, not more. Just write down two things you want to achieve on that day. Okay. Don't write too many things. What we do is we create a to-do list, and in to-do list we have write at least 5-10 things. End of the day, when you sit down, you will see that out of 10 things, you have done only 2 or 3 things. Wholly, not partly. Please understand. Yes, If you have to do an assignment which is part, yes, you can, instead of 2 things, you can do 4 things. You understand? But ensure that you do that 4 things. So that is a very good habit to do. Every day morning, you to-do list, you prepare only 2 things that you will do that day, end to end, and you complete it. You have completed 2 things instead of incomplete 5 things. You understand? So I think this is another way. Okay. And something is that, and I think this will give you certain amount of sense of fulfillment than a sense of achievement. Sense of achievement, fulfillment is more important than sense of achievement. Sense of achievement is from the perspective of your boss. Sense of fulfillment is the achievement from yourself. Okay. So you will be more happier, and I'm sure that ikigai thing brings in certain sense of happiness, certain sense of fulfillment, and then happiness. So you'll be more happier than trying to do many things at the same time. Okay. Anything else?
So I think that is really well put, sir, that you pointed out how we can exercise this as well before going to bed. It is also part of positive psychology that you should count 3 things that you think were like positive in a day, and it makes you feel happier and more content. And I think then on the to-do list, we tend to procrastinate a lot by putting so many things on our list. So I think that was a very good point that you pointed out, and even about sense of fulfillment. I think that's something people should really look forward to, like, so as to be happier.
Definitely, sir. So, sir, now coming to what you had told us in the beginning about, your story, where you said that you were you like to meet people, you like to interact with people. So that was something that you were passionate about and you wanted to pursue. So, according to you, I would like to ask, what are the essential tools which are required, in today's day and age, in order to stay on the path of pursuing your passion? Many a times we've heard that people, because of whether it's external or internal, sometimes people, they give up on their passions. So what is that a few tools or a few things that they can have in mind to continue staying on that path?
Okay. Let me start with this reminds me, it's a good question, actually. Excellent question, though everything lies within you, actually. And I'll give you an example. This Shankaracharya was there, and one night he wanted to teach a lesson to his students, and he had many ways of teaching the students in a practical way. One day the students took a break, and after dinner, while going back to their respective places to sleep, they find the Shankaracharya is looking for something on on the road under the street light. So they asked him, Guruji, what are you looking at? He says, I lost something, a pin, and I'm looking at it. So he said, Guruji, but have you lost it here? He says, no, I have lost it inside the house. So then they asked him, Guruji, why are you looking at here? When it is lost inside the house, why are you looking at it? But there's no light inside the house, So there's light under the street light. I'm looking for it. Guruji, but you can always put on a torch, or you can put on a light and look for it there. He says, thank you very much. And he went away. Okay. The students, while going back to their respective places, started thinking that Guruji taught them a good lesson. You understand? We look for something outside, here and there, everywhere we start looking for a solution, but the solution lies within us. Solution is within you. It's not with anybody else. When you change, see, we'd like to change the world. How can you change the world unless you change yourself? You understand? When you change yourself and you look at the world in a different way, you can't change the world. So what can you change? You can change yourself. So you look inside, you do introspection internally yourself to see what is there in you. You understand? And that's how I think you will make changes. One of the best tools is to spend time, as I just mentioned earlier also, that you spend time on yourself. Listen to music, okay? Listen to people around you, talk to others, and find out how they can help you in understanding you. What is your positive, what is your negative, what is your SWOT analysis. Do a continuous SWOT analysis about yourself, okay? Then what you can do is also, find out, write down 4 things which you like. See what happens, sometimes we keep on thinking, but don't think. Go back to your writing desk and write down what you love to do, what you like to do. You understand? You will find, and every day practice that, and every day practice what you like today to do. As I told some time ago, 2 things you want to do. Similarly, you write 4 things you like today. Don't look at it today. Tomorrow you look at and you prepare again what you like to do. After a week, the match on all those 4 things, or on all those 7 days, 4 things that you have written. Don't repeat. Try to do something new, and at the same time find a kind of a similarity between all this for the next 7 days. Today you've written 4 things you like to do, you love to do. Tomorrow 4 things you like to do, love to do. Day after tomorrow similar, and after 7 days you try to bring all the 7 days together and see where the matching point is. You will find the answer somewhere in between, that what you like to do and what you love to do, the answer lies there only. You understand? Most importantly is that whatever you practice, continue practicing that. Create a goal and be at it. When you create a goal, be at it. Try to do it. Failure is the pillar of success, isn't it? But failure is the pillar of success. But failure is what it teaches you to do something better and better. You understand? I can give many examples, like I remember Elvis Presley, our time, big singer. If you talk about Thomas Alva Edison, he was the inventor of bulb. If you talk about Einstein, for example, okay, he couldn't speak till the age of four years, but at the end he became Einstein. Okay, Elvis Presley, for example, he first few programs were rejected by people and people didn't like him, so he pursued his singing career, and he became a legend subsequently. Okay, similarly, Thomas Alva Edison, he failed many times. Okay, and finally he could invent the electric bulb, and it is said, the history says, that he failed it in 10,000 times. But when he mentioned that I know, it didn't say that I failed 10,000 times. He said, I know 10,000 times how not to do it. See, look at things in a positive way. Don't say I failed 10,000 times and the 10,000 first time I won. No, he mentioned, I know how not to do it 10,000 times in a very positive way. So turn things in a positive way and do things in the positive way. And as I said, take help from other people. We have a very big example in our midst also. I'm sure everybody knows Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, he's a legend in film industry. Okay, now, if you look at his life, he was rejected by All India Radio when he went for giving audition there. You know why? Because of his voice. It was too deep a voice that he was rejected. Okay. What he did, he knew Indira Gandhi those days, and through Indira Gandhi, he took her help to go to Nargis, Sanjay Dutt's mother, who helped him to come into film industry. And you know what it is today. What is he today? You understand? So you pursue your passion. Take help from people who can help you in pursuing your passion, and pursue it. Perseverance is known to be most important thing, to pursue your passion in a very systematic, religious manner, and you will achieve it. Okay.
Yes, sir. Very well said. Very enlightening. That's true that sometimes we forget that we have it all inside us and we look for answers everywhere but inside. We just don't want to put in the time and the energy to realize that it's all within us, and we just have to bring it out.
Right, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, sir. Just a little revision of everything that was discussed today.
Can I
We
say
talked,
one more thing
right,
before you
sir.
actually end? Okay.
Sure, sir.
Last but not the least, I must tell you that you must upgrade. Every time you must upgrade. It's a very simple example. Again, I'll give you. We all use Microsoft Excel, Word, isn't it? Okay. We all use Microsoft Excel, Word. And if you see Microsoft, when it started off with one X system. Today it is X plus 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 X square 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 X into infinity today, the system. And they keep on upgrading that Excel and Word every time, isn't it? They have not remained same Excel 10 years ago. Today Excel is different with a lot more formulae. Word is in a different this way. You can use it in a different way, isn't it? You can turn Word into Excel, Excel into Word, isn't it? So it has upgraded itself. So in life also we need to upgrade ourselves on a day-to-day basis by doing things, as I said, 7 days practice, and you continue into next 7 days, you continue to next 7 days, you will find you're upgrading yourself day by day. Thank you very much.
That's a
Thank
beautiful,
you, sir.
beautiful answer, sir. So, just summarizing everything. So, we spoke about the concept of ikigai, where we talked about the passion, correlating your passion and your values, then making it a vocation so that it's of some service to society. We can always, help the society to become bigger and better, and mutually everybody can be happy. Then a very interesting story that you told us about how the manufacturing in Japan, how the manufacturing industry, how the strikes would happen. I think that was something very, very interesting where, they valued the time, they valued the manufacturing time, but still getting your voice heard without making sure that there's, minimum damage or minimum loss to the entire system and the entire society. That was a beautiful answer. And coming to the COVID times, how we can introspect and we can spend time with ourselves. This was actually I would say a blessing in disguise for all of us to really dig within and understand what we really prioritize, what we want to prioritize in life, spending time with family, giving them value, and exploring a work life balance. I would say now, after this COVID situation, what I would personally be seeing is, instead of work life balance, it is going to be a work life integration. I think, where we are going to
Integration, yes.
be. So that's
Very
something,
well said. Very,
right? So,
very well.
and then
I
our last part about, looking within, doing a SWOT analysis of yourself, finding 4 things that you like, and practicing, and
Yeah.
perseverance, the passion, and of course
Yeah.
seeking help from people around us, because we live in a society, we are human beings, we are social beings. So having, just knowing and believing that others are there to help us and support us in everything that we do,
Yes.
it
Yes.
is a very good thing. And upgrading,
Yeah.
just like every software
Yeah.
update, we have to upgrade ourselves.
Yes. Of course,
So,
yes.
right, sir. So it's definitely a very fruitful conversation that we've had today, sir. Thank you so much for giving us your
Thank
time this
you.
evening.